We're going to start with this idea that our heart needs to take the lead, that our knowledge is great, but what we really want to do is give the heart a little bit more involvement. And so I'm going to start with my reasons for joy. There are 3 people in my life I want to introduce. Andrea, my partner. We've just taken an improv class, so I call her my scene partner. My daughter, and my best friend. My daughter's name is Devin. My best friend's name is Joel. These are the people that make life worth living for me. But there's one other person I want to talk to you about. It's this guy. More than anybody else in my professional career, it was Marty who saw something inside of me that I couldn't see inside myself. He identified something that was hidden somehow inside, and he facilitated, he brought that out, and I am forever grateful to him. And I want to share my gratitude to him, but before I do, I'm going to invite you to think about the people in your life, the people who fill you up, who make life worth living, that you have gratitude for. And what I'll do is ask you to think about one of them. Think about that person very, very, very deeply. Think about what they've done for you. And just imagine that they're standing right in front of you. What would you say to them? How would you express your gratitude? Now, if you would, we just had a little exercise where you introduce yourself to people around you. If you would, and you feel comfortable with it, just talk to your neighbor. And you're going to have 1 minute to do this. Talk to your neighbor about who it was that came up for you, and a little tiny bit about what you might say. Please begin. Now, about 15 years ago, I developed an intervention on gratitude that has become successful and fairly well known. It's called the virtual gratitude visit. I took Marty's original research, and because I'm a psychodramatist, I was able to extend it by using an empty chair. So I have not rehearsed this, but what I'm going to do is take a moment and walk you through what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment. I'm going to start by sitting down, because we don't have an empty chair for everybody to do this. You'll be standing as the other person and facing your chair. So right now I'm imagining that Marty is in front of me. And I'm going to take a moment to gather my thoughts. Marty, I've never really properly thanked you. I've thanked you 1,000,000 times, but if I did it 1,000,000 times more, I couldn't thank you enough for your encouragement, your support, way beyond the research. Just you being able to spot people all over the world and say, you go, you do it. I can't tell you what that felt like. That was awesome. It turned my life around, and I want to thank you. In reversing roles, I'm going to become Marty Sullivan. Now there's a trick. Thank you, Dan. I couldn't resist. But you know, all I saw in you was something that was ready. And it works both ways. What you're doing makes me proud and happy. So thank you. Thank you. That's a virtual gratitude visit. I'm doing that as a demonstration because I want you to feel exactly what this does. The magic of role reversal uses embodied cognition. It brings us into the other person and we close the loop. So please, take a moment. And I will give you a full moment for this. Imagine the person that you want to express gratitude toward standing right in front of you, and take a moment to savor that and bring that into your heart. And please begin your virtual gratitude visit. You'll have 1 minute. I just realized I'm standing on the stage, everybody's got their back to me, and I'm thinking, if we put this on social media, they're going, what that speaker is doing, they're all facing. Now let me talk a little bit about the research. I think this will be kind of interesting considering what we've done. One of the first things I noticed that when I started to study hope is that you can't really start with hope right out of the gate. That we need interventions that are organized by timelines. Hope is always about something that is to come, right? So it's about the future. But we have a lot of positive emotions that we can harvest from the past. Think about this. You chose a person where that person's in your heart because you've had a lot of experience with them. And so we can go harvest that positivity. And what the research shows is that the people who are grateful are able to be more in the present. They're more kind. They're more loving. They have more self-compassion. And then what we know is that this gets you ready for the future. The interventions in the future, things like faith, intention, hope, these are all about things to come. So the place to start is with gratitude. And this is what we call the harmony triad. If you look at gratitude, love, and hope, we've just done a huge study, 16,700 people all around the world with the VIA character strengths. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But what we found is that this harmony triad, this is the ticket to resilience and well-being. So we start with gratitude, and then we let that percolate. We let that evolve. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody in this room knows about PERMA, right? Well, see, I want to add hope. So I tell Marty, I think we should call it PERMA. I don't think so, dear. But I think it's a good idea because hope, as you heard, is the only positive emotion that requires negativity or uncertainty to be activated. There's no need for hope if everything is honky-dory. The Greeks knew this. Pandora, right, in her jar, hope lived with all the maladies. And that's the thing that was held back. So hope is really powerfully, powerfully unique. When I talk about learned hopefulness, we're trying to cultivate a perspective that optimizes the belief. We can positively influence the future. Think about that. It's about agency and positivity. But if you've heard anything in the news in the last week, in the last month, you know we have a lot of the raw material for hope. And what's happening is that people are losing their belief that they can positively influence the future. So I want to talk just a little bit about how we can influence beliefs. It's pretty straightforward. Perception informs knowledge. Knowledge informs beliefs. So if we want to change our beliefs, we have to change our perception. So please take a look at this image. If you look all the way over to your left, you'll see a duck. If you let your eyes drift all the way over to the right, you will see a rabbit. Same image. But if you put the emphasis on the other syllable, you see that you can change the image, right? Now I use this is the first image I show in my positive psychology course at Columbia, and a student this semester looked at it and said, I see a dog. Why don't you come see me after class? Perception is important. If we teach ourselves how to change perception, we have a real gift. Now, I'd like you to look at this mountain and reflection in the lake. And I want you to make sure that the reflection is 100% accurate. So please look at the crest of the mountain and the reflection. Now, if you would, take your left ear and put it on your left shoulder. This is usually when the provost comes in to see what I'm teaching. Do people see what's happened? You see an adult in prayer. I like people looking the other way going, Dan, I don't see a damn thing. Everybody see what happened? You get an adult in prayer pose and a child in prayer pose. I snookered you a little bit because I told you to look for the mountain and the reflection. But the truth of the matter is, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. From different perspectives, we get to see things differently, and that is the essence of transformation and hope. This is a very unlucky number. But it's also the letter B for beauty and benevolence. When we change the construct of how we're going to look at something, the very same image can come to us in a different way. Now, I'm in the Positive Psychologists Union, so I'm required to show this for 30 seconds during every presentation. But if I ask you the questions that go along with this, I've done you a disservice because it makes you think that there are only two possible answers, when the truth of the matter is this glass is completely full, half with water, half with air. It's a better answer. So we have to look beyond our perceptions. Ultimately, what we want to be able to do is shift back and forth. We're not trying to ignore the negative. We have to take a look at that perspective, but then understand there is another way to look at this. Let's see how we're doing. I love this group. This is like, okay, all right, I'll do it, all right? In just a few seconds, you have trained yourself to look at things in a different way. You're not just accepting them the way they are. You're challenging yourself. And isn't that the essence of hope? That's what we're talking about. Hope is teachable. That's my point. Hope is teachable. It's not this passive thing that'll come to us or not. Hope is teachable. I hope this works. Because this involves every computer skill I've ever learned. This is your life. Are there any questions? Right. Oh, what I'd like you to do is just look at this until you can see the 3D box. Does everybody see the 3D box? There ain't no 3D box. I'm from Jersey, that's how we talk. The truth of the matter is that negativity and uncertainty are the darknesses that can invade our life. And when they do, if we don't do something to manage them right away, this is what happens. But what I've studied is people who have high hope. And what they do is they keep the darkness out. And they do that in a particular way. They start noticing that there are little glimmers of possibility. They're not hooked up yet, but they notice that there are possibilities within the darkness. And then they take action. Well, thank God it's working. Hope is about acting on possibilities. This was 2 hours, by the way, so please enjoy this. Now, I want to talk about my lovely daughter and I. She is extraordinary. We did a piece of research together on those folks, and we came up with gratitude, love, and hope as a cornerstone for peace. Because you can't have world peace without inner peace. And there are 3 findings. We found out that the people who have great inner peace trust themselves. Think about that. And they trust the universe they live in. Trust is first and foremost. Second, they have something called the harmony triad. Well, we called it that, but it's gratitude, love, and hope. And love is also about kindness, because that's how we extend our love. And what we've learned is that the people who have a lot of good inner peace, they're the ones who are going to promote world peace. So where do we start? When we're talking about hope, we start with gratitude. Gratitude is the key to fulfillment. Because when you make peace with yourself, you make peace with the world. People always ask me, what's learned hopefulness about? Learn to trust yourself. Be grateful. And certainly for this conference, be kind so that you can share your love.